Teachers from Hell, story time. So when I was in 4th grade, we had just started taking computer classes, and that was when we got a teacher that we'll call Miss Hateful. Miss Hateful did not like kids, and I don't know why she was working with kids, because you could tell she hated us. So a few days after meeting our new computer teacher, she tells us she's going to teach us how to put our fingers on the home row keys. So about 30 minutes after showing us, she walks over to a boy, one of our classmates, and we hear a crack, and he starts crying. She said, "I told you to keep your fingers on the home row keys." Now this woman was very intimidating, so of course nobody jumped in or said anything. We just all looked, saw him crying, and we went back to doing our work because we were scared. So the next day, me and this girl were sitting side by side, and she was chicken pecking, and I said, "Use your home row keys." She said, "I forgot, I don't know what they are." I said, A, S, D, F, J, K, and I was showing her. Then Miss Hateful walks up and says, "Shh, no talking." The girl sitting beside me said, "Miss Hateful, I need to know which home row keys are. I don't know where to put my fingers." And Miss Hateful walks over and says, "Put your fingers where you had them." So she does, and then Miss Hateful pulls out a damn choo-choo pencil and cracks her fucking knuckles. So this girl, of course, starts crying because you know that fucking hurt. I was scared to death. Like, I was on my P's and Q's about keeping my fingers on the home row keys. Fortunately for me, I was good at typing, but a lot of other kids were not. Just like I'm not good at math and other kids are. It was just some people who did not understand what we were doing. They had never touched a computer before. And those kids would pay the price because she would crack their knuckles open with that damn choo-choo pencil. Well, finally, after a few weeks of this, a parent comes to the school and wants to talk to Miss Hateful. And when the parent comes in the classroom, her and Miss Hateful get into it, and Miss Hateful bullies her down. That first boy who she cracked his knuckles, it was his mother, and was just trying to have a very polite conversation with Miss Hateful about not hitting him with that choo-choo pencil. And Miss Hateful, she wasn't dealing with it. She was a very tall, built, intimidating woman. And whenever she stepped to you, like, people, they feared her. So of course, his mom backs down like, "I'm not trying to fight. I just don't want you putting your hands on my child. I'm going to go to the principal about this." And then Miss Hateful steps to her face and says, "Go. Go." So his mother leaves the classroom and goes to the principal's office, and Miss Hateful looks at us and says, "Don't move and keep your hands on the home row keys." And then she leaves and goes to the principal's office. For the next 30 minutes, all we could hear was Miss Hateful raising hell at that woman and at the principal, and nobody stood up to her. Her husband came out to the school. We could tell she was abusing him. He wouldn't even make eye contact with her. He would just stand there like this. He was scared to death of her. Thank God they didn't have no kids. One day, Miss Hateful comes in the classroom, and she's already pissed. He knew it was going to be a bad time. This girl who sat next to me, she had a really bad temper. She was always bullying other kids and stuff, getting in trouble. Well, Miss Hateful come in and they start having words because she's not using her home row keys. And when Miss Hateful walked over with that choo-choo pencil, this girl stood up and said, "I fucking dare you. Do it. I dare you." They start getting into it like they're nose to nose, except this girl's nose is in Miss Hateful's chest because she's so tall and we're just kids. And then she grabs this girl by her shoulder and squeezes as hard as she could. And this girl drops to her knees like one of our biggest bullies that we were scared of, falls down to her knees, and then Miss Hateful drags her to the principal's office. When that girl came back to school the next day, she had finger marks all the way around her shoulder, back in front, where Miss Hateful squeezed it so tight with her nails. And because her parents were abusive, they didn't care that teacher hurt her. They didn't even come out to the school to address it. They told her to get the fuck over it and go back to school, so she did. Because of things like that, the rest of us were terrified of her. All we wanted to do was pass this class and get it over with. So a few weeks later, I guess it was my turn. For whatever reason, she came into class ill that morning. She starts walking around the class, popping people in the back of their heads and on their knuckles with that damn choo-choo pencil, and I'm already looking like I know she ain't coming over here. I do my work. I'm listening. I'm paying attention. Why is she coming over here with that choo-choo pencil? Sure enough, she walks up behind me and grabs my ponytail and kind of pulls it a little bit and says, "You need to sit up more with your posture." So I don't say anything. She comes back, grabs my shoulder and says, "I told you to sit up," and she grabbed it with her nails and yanks me up like that to straighten my posture. I was so scared. I was shaking. I could barely even type. So when she came back around that next time, my hands were like trembling on the home row keys, and I was typing, missing a lot of words, because it tells you on the computer screen how many words you're missing. So she takes that choo-choo pencil while standing over me and fries my damn knuckles with it. And when she did that, I felt the tears welling up in my eyes, but I didn't want to cry in front of everybody, but I did cry because it hurt so bad. But I knew right then and there, bitch, you just fucked up. So like I said before, not only was I a daddy's girl, but I was also a big snitch. So anytime something happened to me, I would always go to my parents and tattletale. And I knew, time I got off that damn bus, I was going straight to my daddy. My dad did not play about me, and he was already pulling weekends in jail. So when I got off the bus, my dad wasn't home yet, but my mom was, and I didn't tell her at first. I waited for him to get home. So the time my dad got out that work truck, I showed him my shoulder and my hand, and he said, "Who did that to you?" And I said, "The computer teacher." He said, "The teacher?" I heard him when he went in the house, and him and my mama started yelling because he told her, and then they got on the phone and they called the school. But because it was evening time, the school was already about to close down. The next morning, I get up and get ready for school. Well, as I'm getting done with breakfast, I come out in the lunchroom, and I see their old car sitting out in the parking lot, and I said, "Oh, shit." There was one thing you did not want to happen with my parents. You did not want them to come out of that damn school because it was not going to be pretty. The only time they came out of that school was for concerts and trouble, and this wasn't a concert. And I knew damn well I wasn't in trouble. So as we're going from our first period to our art class, everyone can hear my parents yelling from the principal's office all the way down both sides of the hallway. And I mean, it's not good. It's very bad language. I mean, making very serious threats. But my mom, she was the one that surprised me. She was always small, quiet, and just didn't really say much. But this day, she had a temper. She was yelling. She threatened to shove that pencil up her ass. My mom was losing it. My parents were like dogs. If they got mad alone, you could calm them down, talk to them, and handle the situation. But if they got mad together about the same thing, they would feed off each other's anger, and you lose control of the situation, and the cops get called. So at some point, that first boy that was hit, he got hit again, grabbed or something, and his parents came out the same day my parents came out. So now they're arguing with the principal about this teacher, and the principal was just, he was fed up. Like the next day or day after, we found out that Miss Hateful has been fired. And I won't even lie, when I found out she got fired, I was kind of scared that she was going to come back and do something because she was just that scary. She put the fear in us just because she liked to be a bully. She was just a violent abuser. There was no other reason for her to treat us the way she did. But it was a look in her eye. She looked like a demon, like very dark, hateful, and angry, like just something in her was really bad. I wouldn't even be surprised if she wasn't a serial killer or something, because when she walked up to you with that pencil, the way she looked at you, like with that hate and disgust in her eyes, it was terrifying. Anyways, we got a new computer teacher, and she was so gorgeous. Her name was Miss Kristen, I believe. Very smart and very nice. I just cannot, like, this woman was amazing. She didn't crack our knuckles open. She didn't punch us in the face or snatch our shoulder blades off. Like, she just taught us how to use a computer, and we all passed our class. And now every single person who took that class can use computers just fine.